People are starting to join. We'll give it another couple of seconds for a couple more people to join, and then I'll share these. You guys are already sharing. Being slow today.
Fighting you. There's a lot of people on the internet today, I think.
Yeah, that's where everything's been. All right, we can essentially get started up, and I'll trim off the beginning later on so that all this is gone. But so I'd like to welcome everybody that's here so far. This is Dennis from SqualusMarine.com. Say hi, Dennis.
Hi, Dennis. How's everybody?
So to continue on with our interview series, which is now morphed into a dram of diving, which is kind of going to be an offshoot, which is interesting. Which is going to involve whiskey later on, apparently. Bad influences showing up and making some fun times. But so why don't you give us a rundown, just real quick, generally what Squalus Marine is, what kind of project it is, what your goals are.
Well, SqualusMarine.com is something I started about in 2012. When the GoPros first started coming on the scene, started messing around underwater with them a little bit. And we were making some silly videos. And a friend of mine who passed away said to me, he's like, you should try to make something like legitimate. So I kind of took that to heart and said, well, if I can film all the stuff that I film underwater and kind of make a show out of it, it would be great. You know, I think we could post on YouTube and all that good stuff. So started off doing stuff, just kind of showing people things that they could identify with from the surface. So we were doing like navigational markers and lighthouses and all this other stuff. And we had just stopped, working on a wreck, and I started doing this project. And one of my wreck dive buddies was like, you got to stop filming the spider crabs and the starfish. And I'm like, I got to start somewhere. I got to build to it. So we started putting them out, and we started to get a lot of attraction, and people started watching it and sharing it. And it started to grow from there. My goal is to basically show people that diving in the Northeast is a real possibility. I think a lot of people have, bad experiences for the one-off time that they do their open water cert. And I'm primarily based in Long Island Sound, but a lot of people may have a bad experience in the Sound because it's cold or, certain things happen. But show people that if you spend more time, exploring and seeing things and honing your skills, it's actually not a bad body of water to dive in and to continue to dive in. So I started having a lot of collaboration with dive shops. We're very supportive. We had a couple guys email us and say, we're getting certified because of your videos, because we didn't realize that you could actually see stuff up here. The sound is probably, I would say, the most challenging in regards to visibility. And a lot of the stuff, we've gotten great viz in Boston. We've gotten stuff. We did some diving in Maine. We did some stuff off the South Shore, and it kind of blows people's minds. So it's good to kind of, I guess you could say, show people what they're missing. So that's for the most part, that's kind of why I continue to do it. It's been well received. We've been able to branch off into seminars and things like that. Kind of slowed down a little bit because life happens. And yep. I used to work for a over the road seafood company, so I used to drive to Maine twice a week and had a fair amount of more free time to kind of do this. Now I have a new position, so you got to pay the bills. We've also had some projects that we work on that, they don't always make it to the silver screen.
Yeah.
So there's certain things that we research. So, it's kind of a matter of time management. But we do plan on continuing to do more this year. We have some opportunities down in North Carolina that I think we only have 2 videos out of North Carolina, but I think we'll be shooting out a bunch more this year. All things, start to normalize.
Yeah. Absolutely. One thing I wanted to clear up really quick. This is all kind of, for the most part, what you're showing is recreational type of range. Most divers can do. This is not, some of the other interviews we've done is deeper, kind of crazier type stuff. But so they're more open water, advanced, deep specialty type of dives you're showing, right?
Yeah. My level of certification is, simple nitrox, advanced open water. I dive in a dry suit. There's so much to do from 130, 140 and shallow. I mean, especially in the sound. A lot of the stuff in the sound that's on the deeper side of the pool, anything, 130, 140 and down to, 180, 190. I mean, there's a Benjamin Packard's down there. I think it's at 180, but it just looks like a canoe. It's a really big canoe. So it's not really worth going to check out stuff like that. I mean, I'm sure that there's some really interesting stuff down there. And to be perfectly honest with you, it's pretty much all the same after 70 feet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, again, it just becomes, the issue is gas management. But I'm starting to get into a higher level of certification. I have a lot of buddies that are tech certified that do all the cool kid stuff. The stuff 280, 250, that's out of my range right now. But it's good because the stuff here, you could be in 70 feet and have viz that may be comparable. You know what I mean? At 280. And it's just, you don't have to worry about it. These guys, some of my friends have rebreathers and they can be like, we're going to be back in 3 hours. And I'm like, we got to get home at some point, kids. So because it's so shallow. So there's a lot of like really provocative stuff and interesting stuff, between 50 and 100. There's a lot of stuff to look at.
Definitely. Forewarning, all of those friends just joined the Facebook Live and they're chirping off there.
They're losing their minds. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Gaudreau's a meat truck driver. You're a seafood truck driver. That makes sense. Like that's, I'm not sure if you guys met on the road at like a meat truck driver convention or not, but So let's do this one. So you do some exploratory, you ping different things, you do some exploratory type stuff to find new stuff, right? Is that what is the biggest letdown you've had where you've been like, oh my God, this is going to be amazing, and it was a pile of rocks?
Well, there's one time, wasn't a pile of rocks, but we had a really strange anomaly way up in New Haven, which is a little bit of a ride for my boat. You got to pick your day, and we went all the way out there and saw this really gnarly thing. And again, it's part of the adventure. I mean, you go out, you kind of, if you're expecting a home run every day, you're going to be disappointed sooner or later. But we ended up driving up to New Haven and we saw this really just odd anomaly, and we dropped down on it, and it turned out just to be a wooden barge that was all smashed up in every different direction.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a little bit, it's a 30-mile round trip, just for that. But, diving's a lot like buying scratch-off tickets.
Yeah.
It costs you money, but you got to keep trying. Now, there's the other side of the coin.
Yep.
So the other side of the coin is, I had one diver who said to me, don't put anything online. Don't tell anybody anything. And I'm like, it's all underwater. There's, for the most part, a lot of these numbers are NOAA sites. I'm not finding stuff that's been unidentified. NOAA's been through here 100 times over. So a lot of these sites have been identified by NOAA as wrecks or obstructions, and you just kind of go down and take a look, see. Well, we started doing it, and I'd say about 2 years into it, the biggest audience that we got were fishermen, because these guys never get a chance to see what's down there. So, but I would never connect the two. Like if somebody gave me numbers, they were confidential.
Mm-hmm.
So they weren't shared. We had one gentleman reach out and say he used to dive about 10, 20 years ago, and he had these wrecks, and he said, you should go film them. So I said, all right, so give me the numbers, and we went. It was a good 20 miles out, and we scanned it. This massive anomaly. It was like I think it was like 100 feet, 200 feet long with a really huge beam. And it was an old wooden ship. I think it was the Myronis, but we haven't confirmed that. It's just that's been missing around in the neighborhood. So on the way back to Bridgeport, we stopped and we scanned another wreck. And unfortunately, there were 3 fishermen on it, so we couldn't dive it. So we asked fishermen how long you're going to be here. And they're like, we're going to be here, you know, as long as we want. Just weren't really friendly, which is fine.
Yep.
They have a right to be there if they're there first. So then we went and scanned another anomaly, and I scanned a couple times, and it wasn't provocative enough for me to go down and look at. So then scanned another one, and I spent about 40 minutes just doing passes. And when we went down, we just kind of pawed around. The other guy that I was diving with, he thought it was going to be a pile of rocks. And when we got down there, I spent about 20 minutes trying to find the actual wreck because the viz isn't great and you just kind of paw yourself around. And we ended up finding a bell.
Wow.
And it was the only time on it. If you look up the accidental wreck, that's the video. And it was crazy because I wasn't even bringing bags with me. We just went down, kind of looked around, and you saw this little green dome coming out of the mud. And I said, no way, that's not. I actually thought it was the cover of an acetylene tank, and it turned out to be an actual bell. So it's all shot in the dark. It's a numbers game. I'm in sales. It's kind of how it is. The more cold calls you make, the more sales you get, and the ratios are a lot lower than the amount of calls. So if you can get out there and keep looking, you are bound to find something sooner or later.
So this was like a 2015. I'm throwing the video up there right now. It's the accidental wreck. Let me put that up there so people can find that.
We weren't even expecting to go there that day. It was kind of a fluke, and it was just their player's day, and it was so funny because I go down there and I'm like, oh, there's a boiler over here and some other stuff, and I find it, and it's just I have no bag.
Yeah.
And it's like a 10-pound bell. Weighs really heavy when you have no bag and you're trying to do your safety stop and you're just like, save my baby. So ended up, I got to the back of the boat. There's a little bit of current where it was, and I called for my buddy who was on the surface, and I said, take this and get this over the gunnel. And it was the last thing he expected me to handle on that dive. And we ended up cleaning it up, and no names on it, of course.
Yep.
So it's a bell. We don't know if it's the bell.
Where does it live?
I think I've been back 2 or 3 times. Say it again.
Where does it live? Where does it hang out? The house or?
Well, I had a few people who felt it was necessary to, I guess you could say, kind of poke around about artifact recovery. So it is now in the hands of the Connecticut State Archaeologist.
Yep.
So, he has it. There was a lot of information that was transferred, for where it was found, where on the wreck it was found. I mean, I have nobody to really leave a lot of stuff to, so it's kind of not really the end of the world. To be honest with you, I would rather people from, the area that it belongs to get to see it.
Yep.
It's interesting. It would have been cooler if it had a name on it, but a bell's a bell.
Yeah, a bell's a bell. Yep. Brass is brass.
Yeah.
So you got a good collection of bottles behind you. I like it. So
that's my fight against marine debris.
Yep. And so that's our situation is bottles only up here because the wrecks are so preserved. It's crazy, but grabbing the brass like you guys can get to do sometimes is good. So where do you do most of your videoing? I think you mentioned it's the sound, but I think we kind of skipped over that, and I want to come back to it. So where do you do most of your videoing?
My boat is based in Long Island Sound. My home port is Bridgeport. So I spend a lot of time in this neighborhood. At some
Bridgeport, Long Island, right?
No, Connecticut.
Bridgeport, Connecticut, yeah. We have a Bridgeport here. I wanted to clarify.
Yeah, the southern coast of Bridgeport, and then we do shoot over sometimes to the North Shore of Long Island.
Gotcha.
The North Shore is, depending on the substrate, is mostly better. I mean, we've had some really good experiences on the North Shore of Long Island. They're far enough away from all of our runoff. I mean, we get runoff into the Sound from probably up by you guys. I mean, the Connecticut River. We get stuff from Vermont, makes its way all the way down the Sound. and it's an estuary. A lot of people don't realize that it's kind of like diving in a drain pipe. We've got water that comes in from Hell Gate, and we got water that comes in from the Race. So it comes in from the Atlantic Ocean, and it spins around, and it does that every 6 hours, 8 hours, and it never really slows down. So it's not like the South Shore of Long Island or the coast of Jersey or Boston, where it's just tide comes in, tide goes out. It moves around a lot. So and it's not as salty. So
Gotcha.
won't have a lot of issues with salt crystals breaking plates or anything like that. It's very brackish.
Gotcha.
So there's a lot, I go to the South Shore of Long Island and I dive for a day. You don't rinse your gear. It's like sand. That salt is just so heavy. But in the Sound, it's not as bad with the salt.
Gotcha.
But yeah, we tried one year. We put the boat up in Niantic further east, which was a little bit of a challenge because where I am in the Sound, it's very wide. So the currents aren't as, voracious as the ones up further east near the Narrows. So when we were up in Niantic, we really had to pick our times, and there was no wiggle room. You missed it, you were waiting.
Yep.
And it kind of made it difficult to dive, for timing.
Yep. That makes sense. Any good marine life interactions you've had in the past?
Well, in the Sound, we have the usual suspects with the fluke and the flounder and the occasional lobster. Blackfish scare the hell out of me. They're notorious for doing it. They have a tendency to jump out of the dark. We run into mantis, shrimp, things like that.
Those are cool animals.
All over the place. What's that?
Those are cool animals. I like those a lot.
They're super intelligent. And there's certain mud flats. There's one wreck that we call the Scorpion wreck. It just looks like Scorpion from the sonar. But if you go off the wreck, there's these mud flats, and it looks like whack-a-mole. There's little 2-inch holes everywhere, and they just stick their heads out, and they just stick their heads. It's wild, and super smart animals. We did have an encounter with a whale off Cape Cod where we dove with canned air, which is no longer in service. Captain Wayne Gordon took us up there. It was kind of he invited me up. He went to like a private thing out of I think it was Harwich. I think he put the boat there for like a week, and I was able to get up there for 2 days. And he's great. He's like, yeah, we are diving where the sharks are. So, it is a factor. So we ended up going up there, and we tied into some wreck called, I think it's the Mystery Schooner, which I think is the video. And when we dove that wreck, there were all these humpbacks, just, flukes coming up out of the water and coming up for a breath, real close to the boat. So the first 2 guys went down and tied in. Second 2 guys did their dive. And then Captain Wayne said, you go down and film your video because you'll be by yourself. And I'll come down about 20 minutes after you because I'm going to disconnect and we'll leave. So we get in the water and, I do my video, and just gorgeous colors over off of Massachusetts. I mean, it's comparable colors to Florida. It's just cold.
Yeah.
But on the way up, I'm at about maybe 60, 70 feet hanging out. And I see this big white thing kind of go just outside of my, field of vision. And I'm thinking, oh my God, it's a white shark. Like, this is not what, for some reason, I just, go like that with the camera to try to get it closer. And so it'll see it. And I'm watching it, and it didn't move like this. It went kind of like this. It was like a weird movement. And then I realized it was a white pectoral fin from a humpback.
Oh, wow.
And then you could see the whole whale, and it was pretty close by. And then I tried talking to it and find an emo. I didn't get a response.
No response. Jeez.
Made for good video.
Yeah, that works. A couple of the guys were asking about moon snails. If you've seen any moon snails in the Northeast, and if you've filmed any.
Yeah, some of the moon snails they're pretty they're out there. Some can be very aggressive.
They're aggressive moon snails.
So you have to be really careful with the moon snails. And to film them, it's somewhat of a cinematographic. That's the word. Cinematographic challenge.
I see.
Because if you do disturb them, in the shell they go, and that's the end of the moon snail.
Oh, geez, that's not good at all.
I love my friends.
They're hilarious. They're on here. They're chirping away in the corner. You'll see it later on. Too funny. What is, I guess everybody's kind of got that best video, that crowning achievement kind of. What is one video that you really are proud of that you've produced, if you can think of one, that really is kind of the heavy hitter? And I'll grab the video and throw it up on the comments. But
the one video that I think has done the best is the 853. So we dove the 853 with canned air. We did it 2 separate times. So the first video has done exceptionally well. It's got a fair amount of comments, and you know, that one I think is probably is the top of the heap for this neck of the woods. San Diego videos are cool. People are really interested in that one. There's one where it's mostly the outside, and then there's a little bit of some light penetration on the second. I mean, my favorite one is the bell one, but that's okay. The airplane is interesting. There's one called Aftermath of a Plane Crash, which is it's a wreck in about 105 feet of water in the middle of the Sound, and that's all intact. That was interesting. We made a couple of runs out to it. First 2, we got some issues with topside challenges with wind and just not really comfortable with, you know, we don't really hook in like they do in the ocean, because you sometimes can't see the wreck until you're about 2 or 3 feet away from it. Mm-hmm. A lot of the wrecks that we have here are so old and deteriorated, you don't know what you're tying to, and the boat might be, you know, down the road a piece when you come back. So, you know, the U853 has done really well. There's a bunch. I like the Chester Poling video. I mean, that's a personal favorite of mine. That was a really interesting ship just because of how it's laid out. I mean, it's just one half of the ship. And if you go to one side, it looks like a cross section. It looks like somebody just took a knife and sliced the ship in half. But yeah, the 853 is probably the top one.
All right, let's see here. So U853, you're saying?
Yeah, and episode 1, I think, is the biggest. The second one hasn't gotten as much traction. I just think it has to do with the search engine stuff. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
I also don't, some of these people on YouTube, it's almost like a science to get people to go from one to the other. Yeah. Sometimes people, I've had fishermen who got snowed in and said, I watched your videos for 3 hours. They just watch them one. I think binge watching, it's like potato chips. You just can't have one.
Yeah.
And they just keep coming. So.
Yeah. I mean, how many videos do you have?
I think there's like 170.
Yeah.
But again, some of these, you know, they may not tickle your fancy. Some are wrecks and some are lighthouses. Some are, you know, rock walls and, you know, places to dive, shore diving stuff.
Yeah. Try to get a mix of everything for everyone. So that's, you know.
You know what I mean? You got to start somewhere and get to where you want to be.
Yeah. And it's not all the 100% amazing content all the time. We got to get you up. We got to get you up to Alexandria Bay and get some videos with you up here. So even if it's not off your boat.
The thing that for the website, if you go to squalusmarine.com, the thing that I'm most proud of that I think has the most traction, I think it's been viewed like, I don't know if it was 100. I haven't looked, but it's been viewed quite a bit. We have an interactive dive map. So if you go to the website and you click on dive map, you can, it's like a Google map, Google Earth map. And if you zoom in and out and you move the map around, you see all of our little shark heads are all over the map. And you can click on that shark head at that location, and there's a link that corresponds to the wreck that's in the neighborhood. Nice. So a lot of the stuff out in the deep stuff, like way offshore, that's stuff that we completely forgot the numbers, so we couldn't plot them properly. So that's, we just put
you guys forget a lot of stuff. Gaudreau doesn't even know what wrecks he's diving right now.
Oh, Gaudreau?
We forgot everything.
Yep.
John Craig's asking, what are the temps in Viz run through the year in the Sound?
It doesn't get lower than 39. That's as low as cold as it's gone in, say, like early spring, you know, February or March, like right now. Right now, I mean, we've had a mild winter. It's probably in the 40s right now. But for the most part, I go into a semi-dry and stay in it after 55 degrees. But I've had the sound as high as 75, almost 80 on hot summer days.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, I'd say at depth in the summer between 60, maybe 65.
Right.
There's thermoclines, but for the most part, it's manageable. I mean, if you dive in the sound, and obviously it's anything else. If you're diving in cold, you're gonna dress appropriately. But it does change around a lot, so it's not consistently cold. Like, I mean, I was diving off of Gloucester in August one year. It was like 45, and
wow.
the sound, because the water's moving around, but it kind of stays in there, and it doesn't. The temperature in the summer is pretty warm, and obviously in the winter it's a little cooler.
Nice. Just give me 1 sec. I think we're getting computer issues. There's a little bit of a skipping going on here. Let's see if I can fix it. I don't know what's going on. We will. Yeah, it looks, there's a little fogginess going on, like somebody's jumping in. I don't know. We'll just keep going. Oh wait, it might have resumed. Oh. Oh, there he is.
Oh, God.
Look at that.
Oh,
Yeah, hacker.
who's this?
Oh, look.
Wait a minute. Oh, Jeff Goodrow.
Gaudreau hacked in. I have no clue how he got in here.
Jeff, you got to put your credit card in.
Dennis, I have an important question. I would like to know, and I think the world would like to know, if you've ever had sex with one of your deckhands, and if you have, what was his name?
This is a family show. This is a family show.
Boy,
I don't have any deckhands.
Oh boy. But
I want you to know some of the guys had some really, really bad questions to ask you, so you're lucky that I'm here and they're not.
Fair enough.
Oh Lord.
Like I said, most charter boats are floating locker rooms.
Yep, exactly.
Absolutely. So Dennis, when you're on deck between dives, what is your favorite snack on the grill?
Ooh.
What's my favorite? Sometimes I've had scallops, but I tend to cook them incorrectly.
Oh yeah.
Hot dogs. That's what you want. Hot dogs. That's what he's going for.
Too funny.
Jason, Dennis down. I guess it was 2 years ago now. We didn't get down there last year, and I know some of the other guys did, and he really has. He's got a great setup down there and a great boat, and he's a hell of a nice guy.
Yeah.
Say Jeff. And Jeff
Dennis gave me to say that.
Jeff Goodrow, just so you know, has the thickest skin in the Northeast United States.
So I went out with Squalus Marine. It was the best day ever. It was a long way out, but it was the best day ever.
You didn't finish.
Dennis has made a series of videos, like some of Facebook won't even allow, of I'm Jeff Goodrow. And I really think, when you were asking him what his best video was or what his biggest hit, I really think that series has been great. I know everybody.
Probably better than 85.3.
I think that's completely underscored in his repertoire. Come on.
That's right.
Did Dennis send you the link for all of his I don't even know what the right word would
The
be.
Gaudreau showcase?
It's the Jeff Goodrow meme.
Yeah. Yeah, the Gaudreau showcase. I believe I got it, but I don't know if I have it accessible to put up on the live view here. So we'll find it and put it up there.
It's hilarious.
Hey Jeff.
Yes.
Hey Jeff, just so you know, you might want to get that bathroom tissue out of your back seat.
Yeah, everybody's commenting. Where'd you get that, man? Come on, nobody's got any.
I'm hoarding. Look, not just that, I got paper towels too there. Huh? I have been unable to get toilet paper for weeks.
Wow.
We're getting down to like the nitty gritty, and I finally had to call in a favor with one of my customers and buy a big bulk stockpile. So
Wow.
if anybody's out, I'm offering 6 rolls of toilet paper and 3 rolls of paper towels for a can of Lysol. How about that?
Hey,
Too funny. That's great.
Nicole.
Yeah, whatever. It is probably no one. We're not open. We're commanded to be closed. I don't know who's calling. It's ridiculous. So I'm just sitting in my shop pretending that I have stuff to do. One of the questions we got: what wrecks are you planning in North Carolina? With whom and when?
I have a friend of mine who's down in Morehead City. He has a private boat. We'll probably dive with Bobby Edwards in the Atlantis while we're down there because he's a great guy. He's got a great operation. Him and Renati are great people. Highly recommended. Probably stop in and do a dive or two with Olympus. But there's a bunch of stuff down there. Probably do the staples, the Shures and the Crib C and all that stuff. I'd like to get the 352 done, just to add it to the catalog. And we also plan on checking out some other stuff that may or may not be well known. So my friend down there, we like to go after. He was a diver I used to work with up here a lot, and we work well together in the sense of he understands that I'm competent on the top, running the boat, and he's a CCR guy, so I'm fine with him being by himself. So it works well, and we'll be down there in theory, depending on what goes on with the rest of the world. Kind of would have liked to have been down there already, but because it's a lot warmer. But so that's what we are kind of planning for North Carolina. But again, that's up to what the world wants to do.
Yep. That works. How mobile are you with your boat going around? And is it? I'm assuming it's trailered, or is it? Looks.
I keep it in the water. I keep it on the dock. I prefer not to trailer it because my trailer is not the best.
Gotcha.
I also don't have a vehicle that can bring it all over the place. When I do get a trailer, the thing that I have that's somewhat difficult is finding surface help or finding people to go with. I go, sometimes at a moment's notice, but a lot of my buddies, that kind of like Jeff, he's up New Hampshire. It's a little bit of a ride for him. So, and it's also difficult to plan. Sometimes when people get blown out in the ocean, we have an option in the Sound. So at some point, I'd like to get a new trailer for the boat. And then if I get a new trailer for the boat, then I just got to find a friend with a pickup truck. And then we could go up to the South Shore. We can go wherever we want. But right now, I'm pretty much out of Bridgeport.
Nice.
It stays in the water.
Nice. Question, John Craig. Yes, it is wet whiskey. Since we are starting this whole dram of diving, thanks to Aaron and Eric Fine and a bunch of other people. Apparently, we are drinking whiskey with every single presentation, or with some of them. So I had it sitting here, so I grabbed myself a little dram of whiskey. Of course, there is. So back on track from there. So what do you need to be able to do video stuff, like traveling around? So say if you came up to St. Lawrence River with us, what would you need in order to be able to do a video series from up here?
Just a couple days on a boat.
Couple days on a boat?
That's all right. I mean, I had worked some things with some charter boat captains where I try to promote the charter boat industry. Yep. It's in rough shape, to be quite honest. A lot of the boats that are in my intro are gone. And that was filmed, 4 or 5 years ago. What I've been seeing a lot more is a lot of, people have their private boats, and I know divers that have literally bought boats just so they can dive. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the challenge is, but they're hard to come by nowadays.
Yep.
So what I did was, during my seminar, I offered free tables to any charter boat in the region or wherever they were. I'll give you a free table in exchange to let me dive on the boat, which in turn I would film 2 wrecks that you go to, and I'd showcase your boat.
Yep.
And a couple guys took advantage of that. So anything I can do to help them, it's really no skin off of my back. It's a table, and I'm trying to promote them. The more people, I want the boats to stick around, because there's certain parts I can't get to without a charter boat. and that's kind of it's difficult. It's difficult to ask for any kind of promotional consideration,
right,
when everybody's hurting.
Yeah.
So 9 times out of 10, I mean, if I had an opportunity to get up to Alexandria Bay, I just go up, film, put the videos out, and then at the end I put who I went with.
Nice.
You know what I mean? Like, or I'll say it in the video, we're out here with so and so and such and such, and we're on the wreck of the so and so. I try to showcase the entire experience from getting on the boat, underway, going down the line, looking at the wreck, and coming up. So it's kind of like a virtual dive with as I say to my friend Peter, a rustic filming style. So
I like it. Apparently Ross is offering up, and I believe this is what's coming, the mobile command bus to come, and I'm assuming he's typing it in all caps. I believe that he means that he will be willing to drive you and others up here to go video, is what I'm hoping that's what that means there.
Yeah, so good. I got the travel figured out.
There you go. And I can get the...
Yeah, if we could just start the GoFundMe now.
Yeah.
For lawsuits and the arrests, we'll be way ahead of the
all
game.
the ridiculousness. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. The panda wagon, as Jeff calls it. All right. So yeah, we'd love to have you guys up, or you up, or whoever. What are you doing most of your videoing on?
I just using GoPros. I'm
Okay.
just filming GoPros. I have an old version of Pinnacle that I use to do the editing. They like to update it and make it better, which means that they completely revamp it, and it's like learning all over again.
Yeah.
So I've got a really old version that I'm relatively proficient at, and I try to keep it alive. I refuse to update. So I've gotten like kind of templates. It's really, there's only so many moving parts on a video. It's just kind of a process. But it used to take a long time to do them, and now we can do them pretty quickly.
Nice. That works.
Yeah, just GoPros and a couple of like solar lights and big blues that we use. It's not, high society filming like some of my friends do. Yeah,
no problem. I have a bunch of sea life stuff that if you brought up, we could go ahead and grab and utilize also some of the bigger lights and the if you want to use it. And I've got one of the RM4Ks actually. That if you wanted to try that out, be more than willing to let you do that. So we could try that wherever. So I think you touched on something important. I want to come back around it. I think the entire industry is going to, including, like you were saying, the charter boats, the entire industry is going to be kind of hurting and going to need a kick in the butt come whenever it is, spring, summer, whatever it ends up. That includes charters. I mean, but it seems like charters are selling out too. It seems like it's hard to get on a charter and that. What are you guys seeing in your neck of the woods for all that?
Well, in the state of Connecticut, there's not very many operations. I know that there's some operations on the South Shore. I know Halftime, Captain Ralph. He's I want to say it might be Mauritius, but you can find him. Look up Halftime Dive Charters. It's a great boat. He's repowering the boat as we speak. Mm-hmm. Great captain, really low pressure. If you want to leave a little later, he has no problem with that. Nice. So you don't have to leave at 2 o'clock in the morning. The Sea Turtle's another great boat out of Montauk. Mm-hmm. The Seahawk is running out of, I think, Baldwin, New York. I know there's the Independence in New Jersey. And the Gypsy Blood. I haven't gotten down to New Jersey. I'm hoping to do that this year too. One of my friends used to crew on a lot of boats, or I think he still does, down in Jersey. So he's trying to, get me out there and get on some different things. And then there's, Boston Scuba is another one out of Boston. Yep. And I think Cape Ann is still running out of Massachusetts and Gloucester. And what's the other one? I think it's Dive Boat One. And I think there's another, I'm trying to remember the other one. Gauntlet runs. They're primarily technical, I think. But I think they do, I guess, you charter the boat, But, anything that I can do to help these charter boats keep going, we kind of got to circle the wagons and see if we can help each other out. And one thing that I kind of want to touch on that I think maybe something that people overlook, and I see two very different segmented types of divers. I see divers that are shore diving only. That's their skill set, and the tropics. And I see some of the offshore stuff that scares the hell out of the shore diving people. And I think, and again, I'm just talking out loud, if there was some kind of a stepping stone, to get on the boat that's maybe a 50-foot dive or a 40-foot dive, it's not super sexy and you're probably not going to get any brass or see anything, but to get these people familiarized with the charter boat ops. I know that there's a new artificial reef all on the South Shore. There's a whole bunch of it. It's artificial. It's great. It's 50, 60, 70 feet of water. I think that might be some way to fix the lack of people taking advantage to some of the deeper stuff like the Oregon and things like that. I think that scares the heck out of people who are just doing shore stuff. A stepping stone, basically, for lack of a better term. I know there's a lot of people that do shore diving, and they may just like it. Yep. But I think that there's a fair amount of them. I've had a couple people tell me, where are the shore dives in the Sound? And I can't even offer it because I don't really know. But if there was a way for divers who are doing the shore stuff to get onto a boat, because I know a lot of people that are they're scared about the depths and being way out there. So, I've taken people who've only been diving, 2 years, and I'll plop them on a wreck in 20 feet of water. I'm not even a mile from my harbor, and they're happy as a clam. Yep. And you know what? I'm not a charter op, but if a charter op said, hey, if I could take 2 people and go 2 miles out and still get my half-day charter, I don't know how many hours, whatever it is, that's, the comfort zone. People got to take baby steps. I don't know. It's just proof of thought out there,
Well, it's a willingness to accept new divers in. It's encouraging new divers. It's some people, it's hard to remember that first step onto a boat. You get so much. And I've got mixed feelings. I've had mixed feelings through the years of the boat diver specialty that everybody says, oh, that's garbage, you're just jumping off a boat. Well, sometimes people have some intimidation factor going on there. Like, yeah, some of the boats are super easy. And then other ones that I've got on have been like, even me with some experience going, what, how the hell do I get off this thing? How am I getting back on this thing? Who's here? What are we doing? Like, it's just, it can be nerve wracking.
Here's the other thing that I've picked up from going on charter boats. You'll meet some of your longest and oldest friends from going on a charter boat. These are people who are looking out for your life. These are people who are basically trusting you to keep an eye on them and so on and so forth. But the other thing is this. You learn so much by diving on a charter boat and meeting other divers. And I'm sure that if you go on a charter boat and you're brandy new, and there's a guy in a CCR looking like he's going to the surface of the moon, it could be intimidating. But to be honest with you, a lot of these people are some of the nicest people. And if you ask a question, they'll help you. Yep. I've been on charter boats years ago. I was seeing equipment that I didn't understand. I was like, what do you use that for? And they'll explain it to you. Yep. Hey, you get it once in a while, you get a real, rock-eating type of guy who gives you a hard time. And, whatever, there's always going to be them. Everybody's read comments on the internet. Right. But, but for the most part, you'd really be surprised, especially people who, if you're a jerk to a new diver, you're hurting the industry. Yep. You really are. And, it's not necessary. Some of the stuff that I try to do in my videos is make it friendly, low pressure. There's a lot of people out there on all kinds of videos that will try to act like they're doing something, out of control. The reality shows there's always a failure. Right. There's always a crisis. And it's for ratings so that they can break right before the commercials. Yeah. And it's not really the case. With proper training and proper equipment maintenance, I'm still knocking wood. But anyways, you really do have to, go out of your way to make some mistakes that are worthy of breaking for commercial.
Right.
So,
Yep.
you know, and those reality shows, they really hurt the industry. These movies that come out, they hurt the industry. They're ridiculous. I mean, a lot of the stuff, the 47 meters, I'm like, I saw like 90 things wrong in the trailer.
Yeah.
So, you know, but people think this stuff is right.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
it's tough when you've got Hollywood against you.
Yeah. That's if somebody's like, oh my God, it's so crazy deep, 47 meters. Would you even consider ever going there? I'm like, yeah, last weekend. Like,
yeah.
Like, all right.
But, you know, full face mask with aluminum 80.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly.
So,
no bailout, no nothing. You're good. You're good to go.
Yeah.
So
first time.
Yeah. It's all good.
In a steel cage that's okay.
Yeah. Exactly. It's crazy. What new projects are you working on? What do you? I mean, everybody's kind of on a shutdown right now, but besides delivering seafood meat, what projects are you working on?
Well, I mean, we've got a few projects. We're kind of researching something that, you know, we'll maybe, I don't know, work on something. But, you know, again, I'm looking forward to North Carolina and New Jersey this year. I'm really trying to populate that map. And, you know, if we can get up there with you folks, yeah. I'd like to get some stuff in the lakes. You know, what I'd like to do in the next couple of years, I'd like to get over to Scapa,
yeah,
do some stuff in Scotland. I'd like to get up to Canada, do some stuff on the the name eludes me, the Bell Island shipwrecks.
Oh yeah,
I'd like to get up there and do some stuff up there. I'm you know, I've had a couple aspirations on the West Coast, the Yukon and stuff like that. Just a matter of logistics, the time and getting out there.
Yep.
I'm more. I like showing the wrecks. I'm trying to have somewhat of a. It'll never be comprehensive, but
right.
As much of a database on just what it looked like. What's really interesting is that we've filmed wrecks like down in like the Bahamas that are completely different now after the hurricanes have gone through.
Yep.
We've a couple other just points of interest. We filmed a few wrecks in the Sound. One was called the Celtic, which sank in 1984, and another was called the Gwendolyn Steers, which I think was sunk in 1961. But there were losses of life on both vessels. When I put the videos up, I didn't know the history. I didn't know there's incredible amounts of history on the Gwendolyn Steers that would blow your mind. I have a gentleman, if you were interested in interviewing in regards to like presentations and things like that, this guy gives an incredible presentation about the history of the Gwendolyn Steers, which used to be a presidential yacht at one point. But when it sunk, there were I think 6 or 9 guys lost. I believe it was 6 or 7 on the Celtic. But when we put the videos up and we you know kind of put it out for the public's consumption, I started getting comments and people reaching out to me, one of which was a woman whose father was lost on the Celtic. And, you know, it was coming up to the anniversary of his death. And she typed it in to Google and our video came up for the Celtic. And she never saw the wreck of where her father ended up. And she watched it and she left this really huge comment about her feelings and about how, you know, what transpired from the other end. And then her brother posted something about his experience, how he was in on a freighter somewhere, I think in the Gulf of Mexico, and the Coast Guard called him and told him that his father was lost at sea. And it's a very interesting comment. I believe it's still up there. The Gwendolyn Steers, the granddaughter of the captain, contacted me after watching the video, asked me where it was and things like that, and wanted to get certified to go dive it.
Oh, wow.
I recommend, referred her to a dive shop out on Long Island, and wasn't sure if there were any ops that ran out to the Steers anymore. But you know, there's lots to see and lots to explore just in our little estuary.
Make my job too easy. You're telling me everything I've been writing down my questions for. So you're giving me good transitions. So what is, I'm not sure if you're gonna have a good answer for it or not, but what would be the one shipwreck, if you could do it, that you really want to see, that that you haven't seen, and maybe one that you'd like to do again?
When did I have
anything on the bucket
my
list?
project, but that's
we can't talk about that.
yeah.
You're a New England diver. I can't talk to you about anything you're doing.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I'd like to get back to. I hit it a couple times, but I didn't have productive dives. I'd like to, and we're planning on going back to the Oregon, on the South Shore. I think that once we film that, I think there's some really interesting stuff. And again, that's within that 130 range. There's a lot of stuff to see there. That's one that I really want to hopefully get out before the end of the year. You know, I think it's 9 boilers and the engine. It's massive.
Ross was talking about that. Ross messaged in with that one. The Oregon.
Yeah, that's I may end up doing that with Ralph on the halftime, and we'll just get the boat. But yeah, I'm really interested to get back there to the Oregon. I'm looking forward to North Carolina, and there's a bunch of. I'm sure that there's a lot of. I try to get the staples, like the Stoll and things like that. But I also, you know, the thing that's difficult for me is I don't want to film repeats.
Yep.
So I'll do repeats on wrecks that are sizable, like the 853 and the San Diego. There's lots to see on wrecks like that. But like some of the wrecks, it's difficult because the names are what fill the boat.
Mm-hmm.
So if people say, I'll go to the Diego, I'm going to go to the Diego. My motivation is different than most people because I want to film different things.
Yep.
So it can be difficult for me to plan trips. So going up with you, everything I'm going to do is brandy new.
Right.
You know, locally, it's tough.
Yep.
To get on things other than the 853 and the Diego and things like that. So, you know, that's my largest challenge is, you know, I mean, the solution is get the boat, but 6 people are a lot to get together. But yeah, that's the Oregon is probably the thing I really want to get back to the most.
Nice. Yeah. Ross is apparently excited about that. There are 9 boilers to be specific. He has counted them. Apparently I don't know if he's trying to take one home with him or what the deal is, but again, to recap for the people that are watching up here, off of the coast, you can take stuff because it's going to disintegrate anyways. Where we are, it's preserved. You leave it alone. So to clarify that whole
technically, it depends. It depends on the waters you are in.
Technically, yes.
And the states.
Yes.
So, c'est la vie.
Fair
it's
enough.
Always good to leave it. It's always important to leave it for other divers to look at. They can share the experience. That's probably the best default position that I pretty much take. Again, beach cleanups are one thing.
Yeah, I like that. Very nice. So I guess you said you'd want to go back to the Oregon, but what's one wreck that is just on your mind that's a bucket list wreck that you, or dive in general, or location that you just is complete bucket list for you that you have to go to and you just haven't been able to get there yet?
I've been chipping away at trying to make it work logistically to get to Scapa.
Nice.
I mean, I have some friends. I have some friends that will let me stay who live in Indonesia so that I can dive in Bali and Denspar.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather go to Scotland.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? It's you know, it's 2 wildly different experiences. You know, I mean, at some point, you know, I'd like to go out and do some diving, you know, and see some of the white sharks off of Southern California in the cages. Yeah. You know, the big fish are cool to look at. But Scapa is kind of like, there's a couple of, I have a friend who recommended a liverboard out in Scotland. And some of these boats they're just gorgeous. It's like a cruise ship with the food and the whole 9, mm-hmm. and you don't even have to leave the boat. You stay on the boat. Yeah. And it's not cost prohibitive. You know what I mean? It's getting there is a wrinkle, and then the timing and the booking. But they're actually, you know, well within the range for a liverboard. Yep. So you know, maybe someday that'll be great. I'd love to get us on another continent.
Yeah, that's a definite. I've been trying to get out to Scapa also. Just haven't quite put together logistics. We had a truck trip that was supposed to go on Tuesday. or next Wednesday. A week from today, we were supposed to be leaving for truck, but that got canceled. Clearly, so that one's still on the bucket list.
I don't know if I could do the air travel to a truck.
No,
I would climbing up the wall.
Yeah.
That's a long flight.
Matt Glass wants to go to Scotland also because there's Scotch in Scotland. Clearly, he's thinking.
I think that's where they came up with the name.
Yeah, I think that his deductive reasoning is impressive currently. But his whiskey collection is actually impressive also. He sent me a picture of it. So your dive map is one of the biggest things you've been looking at, and your videos are excellent. You've got a website, squalusmarine.com. You've got Facebook. You've got YouTube. You've got Instagram. What is Instagram. The best resource of those for people? And I'll put that up here. But what of those is the one that gets you, I don't know, the most notoriety, helps you out the most, where they should see it, the easiest to use, whatever?
Well, the YouTube channel is really where everything kind of ends up. But the thing is, the website itself has more than just the videos and the dive map. There's another section about news and data, and that links to a whole bunch of other sites. Our friend Mark has a site, Underwater Sound Survey, I believe, and he's got incredible images of sonar that he takes with his Klein. He's going to be coming out with us. We're going to be putting out a video, provided the weather and the world behaves. But we're going to do a video about his Klein and how it works. We're going to scan some wrecks and the sound, and we're going to talk to Mark a little bit about how it works and how to interpret things. So that'll be good. But there's other places, New Jersey, I think it's New Jersey Scuba Net is another site. There's a Wreck Valley. Dan Berg has a site up there with all kinds of data that, I don't know, these guys are, scuba saints for the amount of time and effort and research that these guys have put in, and just the collection of data that these guys did, because of a labor of love. So there's a lot more to reach out to. If anybody's got websites that, are dive related, that, talk about neighborhoods and areas and wrecks and history and any of that stuff, shoot us an email at info@squalusmarine.com. If you go to the website, you can click on contact us and send us information. We'll post links to everything. We're just trying to drive that conversation of, what can I do here? Just to be able to bridge the gap between places like Boston and New Jersey and North Carolina and Florida, and just kind of get people to cross-pollinate. It's kind of the idea. The one thing we do is we try to put dive shops on the dive map as well, so that when you're clicking on a wreck, you I want to do that, and there's a charter boat here, and there's a wreck here. They probably go to this, and where can I get my fills? Kind of all, like you say, cross-pollinates.
Yep, absolutely. Ross brought up a good question that I was going to ask you, and I kind of want to shine some light on. Ross says, why do you do any of this? You don't make any money. And I think he's ribbing on you, but at the same time, this is completely volunteer. The website, the Facebook page, all the videos, it's all out-of-pocket stuff. I don't want to say what's in it for you, but like what's your motivation? What drives you on this?
It's an avocation. You know what I mean? It's, I think it's Cousteau who said, people will protect what they love.
Yeah.
So, for my experience, like if I didn't have my boat, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. You know what I mean? If I didn't have the ability to dive, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. And there's a lot of people that are suffering through that. There's some people that have, will have an issue where they can't dive anymore. And I have so much sympathy for those people because I wouldn't know how to handle that. But to be honest with you, it's what I like to do. And it's, the best way to understand it is when you're a kid and you get that gift under the Christmas tree and you open it up and all your family comes over, like from all over different states, and you have to show that every single person that is in the house. Because you're like, look at this is amazing. This is amazing. it's just a certain degree of passion. I mean, I like it. I mean, a lot of people tell me I'm crazy.
It's the old slideshow from the family vacation.
Yeah.
I don't think any kids now realize what that actually is. Sorry, this is my puppy, and he is deciding to chew on shoes and some rope that's lying around. So I have to bring him back up here so he behaves. Yeah, it's like the old slideshow of the big projector. I probably have to put a picture up so anybody knows what that I'm talking about. But it's like that, right?
Yeah, so. I mean, when you're really into something, you want to share it with people. Sometimes I had a friend of mine tell me, he goes, you ever wonder why your social life is terrible? And I said, well, I don't know. He's like, you're always on the water, and when you're on the water, you're away from people, and then you're underwater with even less people. So to be honest with you, scuba diving is probably the best thing to do during a quarantine.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's only the people I really want to be with. Like, I get to be away from most of the other people. So.
And you breathe in your own air, so nobody can get in trouble.
Right, exactly. So Ross actually thinks it's very important why you do this, and he's not ribbing you in any way, shape, or form, which is good. So I like that. So I mean, it's commendable, man. Like this is the sort of stuff that we need. The industry needs to. We need to highlight what we have. We have that problem here all the time. I had it today. I was getting a physical to get ready to go back to work at the hospital, and they're like, "You can dive here?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then the next person at the door goes, "I'm a diver here." Like, how do you work together and not know this stuff? Like, come on. Like,
and it's the same thing. I tell people at work that I'm going to be diving this week, and they're like, "Where are you going? To Florida?" I'm like, "No, I'm going to, Massachusetts."
Yeah.
And they look at you, got 9 heads.
Yeah.
And and it's interesting. We spent 2 days off of the Cape. We weren't in the meal zone. We were in like 100-foot range and things like that. We did one. I forgot the name of the wreck. It was a shallow one. It was like 30, 40 feet. And that thing was loaded with fish, and you were constantly, looking around because we were just near Monomoy Point, so it's in the neighborhood of the seal meals. Mm-hmm. So it was interesting, but 9 times out of 10, I mean, it's a shame of what you can see, and the industry is in such dire straits.
Yeah,
and I just think it hasn't been rolled out properly.
No.
I mean, we're up against people diving 3 feet of water and finding sunken iPhones and JBL speakers, and and God bless them, get those views.
Right.
But it really is an indication of where society is for what they appreciate and what they like. It's what they can understand. That they understand the value of like an iPhone's $800-900. So you find it. There's a very, I guess you could say, unique type of personality that finds value in a brass valve.
Mm-hmm.
Because even, if you saw, like my friend and I was joking about it. He's like, if you saw that at a tag sale, would you buy it? No, because I didn't find it 100 feet down. You know what I mean? So it's just different. It's like, it's just different. So, and it takes a different kind of person to appreciate certain things. So,
yeah, definitely. I mean, but I think part of it is that the short time frame thing. Those shows are fairly short. They're also, like you were saying before, where like, all right, well, we're gonna make a big deal out of this 3-foot dive. Like, really? It's a 3-foot dive. Come on, people. like you're snorkeling, but you put scuba gear on. But they're looking for
a lot
stuff.
Of clickbait and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So it is what it is.
Yeah. But I think what you're doing is right on. I wish there was some way we could make it a little more financially stable for you and offset some of your costs. I'm not sure how that's going to go in the future for you or how that's going to work. But like you said, if there's some way we can, and there's that whole what is it? Influencer culture. Maybe we could work on that in some way, shape, or form, or we could find a spot here and there on a charter to make it so that you can do a video and stuff like that. That'd be great, I think. So.
Yeah, I mean, we did make a few videos of dive shops where you meet the owner. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like a virtual handshake before you show up.
Yep.
You get to meet the owner. We'd like to do something like that with charter boats. We show the in and out of the boat, what the boat, have the captain narrate it, discuss his boat, what they can't do, and where they go and what they provide. you know, a lot of guys run boats don't have time to produce videos and do all this social media stuff. So, you know, it's kind of a service, you know, whatever. I mean, it's for me, it's hard for me to, you know, take if people are having, you know, difficulty. So you kind of try to make it work where everybody wins. If everybody walks away from the table happy, it's a good deal.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
So, well, I really appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate Jeff giving us the introduction after his, which was quite interesting. I was like, what did I step into? But I enjoyed every second of it, so I can handle that. But it was comical. But I really appreciate that. Yeah. Hopefully we're gonna get Trash Panda diving on here eventually, and see if we can get him up on this. Yeah, I really appreciate everything you're doing for the industry. I think we need guys like you. We need things like that happening, so that the shops can survive, so that the divers can survive, so that our sport can survive. And we need to show people what's out there, so that when they come back to getting outside and they're rushing to try and find something to do to live their life and make a little bit more out of it, that wreck diving or diving in general is where they go, because that's where our real competition is, right, against the other sports and stuff. So.
I mean, we get certified to explore and see different places. Why would you go to the same place every weekend?
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Completely agree.
You know, the skill set in the Northeast will work in the Midwest. It'll work in the Great Lakes. It'll work in the Northwest. You know, it'll work in Europe. So, but yeah, I appreciate you having me on here and having the opportunity to talk to folks. And you know, if anything I can do to help you out, let me know.
All right, thanks. We'll get you up to this river pretty soon, so we'll get some videos done.
All right, you got any sunken iPhones in there?
So I have to tell you. So we're ice diving, and I'll give the abridged version. I was teaching ice diving. I popped up for my next student, and he's like, "Did you see an iPhone?" Or you see? He goes, "You got a phone?" I said, "Yeah, it's in the dry box." No, did you see a phone? So what you trying to say, man? I'm cold. Like, I know you're cold. Like, what you trying to say? He's like, I dropped my phone down the hole. He dropped his phone down the ice hole. We found it on top of the wreck because we dive on top of the island here. Well, actually, one other dive shop that was up there found it and called us. It did not work later on, but.
Yeah, no. You can put it in all the rice you want after that.
Yeah, exactly. I let him do it, but I was like, I don't think it's going to work. So we tried. So everybody was saying, great job on the show. They had fun with it. Thanks for being a good sport about Jeff jumping in. Jeff Gaudreau, the real Jeff Gaudreau.
Yeah, I think Jeff could punch me in the stomach, and I couldn't even be mad at this point. I've done that.
So I figured that was good. So, all right. Well, I really appreciate it. I'll let you get on with your day. Thank you. And whatever we can do to help you out, let me know, and we'll get you up here. Okay.
All right, man. Talk to you soon. Thanks for having me.
Cheers, mate. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.